Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Welcome back, everyone, and happy Feast of Winter Veil. This is Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and joining me as always is Kyle Fergusson. I forgot your middle initial.
Oh, it's R, but that really doesn't matter.
I know.
Happy Feast of Winter Veil, champion.
Indeed. Yes, we're going to do the entire episode in our best Uther voice.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I've been schooled by John Jagger's Uther, so I don't even try anymore.
He does have a good Uther. Hey Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm waiting. Come on, pitch it to me.
Okay. So let me get mine out of the way. I did not get put into platinum because I stayed diamond. I got diamond 3 top points. I did it. So that was nice. But Garrett, how did your placements go?
I placed the highest I've ever placed, Kyle. I ended last season at gold 2, and I am beginning season 3 as platinum 5.
Congratulations.
I broke in, dude. I was getting worried. I was getting a lot of sad tales on Twitter from folks who dropped alarming levels in the league. So I was really starting to believe that something was going on. Maybe folks who kind of stayed the same or went up 2 or 3 ranks just didn't see the need to inform us, and maybe it was only those who were feeling crushed under the weight of the league system that felt the need to give us a report.
We did see a lot of different tales. I mean, of course, one person's winning streak is another person's losing streak, so it at one side it seems like there's a lot of happy people out there, and on the other side there's a lot of people who just had horrible placements and things did not come together for them. I went 8-2 and I was rather impressed with that.
Damn.
But I did a lot of prep work in my head. As we talked about last week, some people accused me of being really salty on the last episode. Not at all. It was tough love. Last time I was just broadcasting what I felt everyone needed to hear before going in there, because it is a madhouse.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. I went on quite the emotional journey with mine personally. Is it okay if we take a moment and I take you on a story?
Absolutely. Well, you just finished it this morning, so it's fresh.
Yeah. The majority of the games were played last night. I did 7 in a row last night.
That's a lot.
I played 1 the night before and lost. So here's what happened, Kyle. You've been talking a strong game about Tychus. And I drank the Kool-Aid you made. It tasted a bit like cigar ash and
sure.
like the sweat from inside a marine suit, which isn't very tasty, but I drank it nonetheless. And I didn't practice as much as I was comfortable practicing with Tychus. I did a few unranked games, didn't get to pick Tychus as much as I would like. I still managed to squeeze in a couple with him, and just kind of was like, forget it. There's 10 games, man. Stupid placement games again. I don't care. I'm just going to jump in and just throw what I believe is the correct amount of practice out the window and just see how it goes. Got in 2 nights ago, played 1 game as Tychus, and we lost. And I'm pretty sure we lost because of me. You even saw a tweet where I tweeted out, "Oh my God, the pre-tilt, Kyle. I need your help," because someone picked Murky.
Did they pick up that Tassadar too?
They did not pick up that Tassadar.
Okay, good.
No. There was no Tassadar Murky. Praise all that is holy. I was a little concerned, but that Murky player, total boss. He killed it. His split push kept us in that game for almost the entire game. The first half of that game, we were handily winning. My Tychus positioning pretty much ruined that game.
Oh,
yeah. It was bad. It was bad. So it was late. You know, I'm a filthy East Coaster, so I was like, all right, go to bed. And then last night, finished decorating the tree and was like, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna treat it like Hearthstone Ladder and just log games. The results are ancillary They just happen. I'm just going to go log Hero League games. And I started last night with a 4-game win streak.
Nice.
Only 2 of which were on Tychus. My first 2 games were on Tychus, one on Braxis, one on Tomb of the Spider Queen, one handily. Got praise from my team on the Braxis game and MVP.
That's always
felt really good. So
yeah,
kind of got my spirits up. And then won the 4th game of last night as Kael'thas, the 5th game as Thrall, which I also tweeted out the score screen from that Thrall game. I did like no damage. It was an 11-minute Dragonshire. I did 14k damage. I was the lowest damage hero on our team. The healer did more damage than me.
Well, in 11 minutes, you don't have a lot of time to do melee damage.
No, it was a difficult team for me to kind of engage on, and basically I just protected our Vala, and our Vala did over 40k damage in 11 minutes, and we just kind of rolled over him.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, Thrall will often be the off tank. Did you go Earthquake?
Yes.
That thing is madness.
It's stupid. If you've got a Vala on your team, oh my god.
Oh, come up with anything. Gravo Bomb, Space Laser on Artanis. There really isn't a single thing that doesn't benefit from that ridiculous slow. And then, I don't know why I never really read the level 20 on that darn thing, but it gives a 15% total health shield every time it pulses. And it pulses, the shield lasts 4 seconds, and the pulse happens every 2 seconds. So you get a 30% total health shield while standing in it as an ally.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So that was the game that we won that I feel I had the least amount of an effect on. And then I experienced my first loss of the night where all of my picks got taken. Like everything I was considering taking got picked, and I'm the last pick, and Vala's still up, and everyone's like, just take Vala. Vala's so good here. I'm like, oh, Vala is so not my jam, but screw it. Why not? I've logged enough games on Vala lately. It's okay. It didn't work out. This is a game I would love you to look at. I would love for you to look on this because I'm not sure how much of this is me. I'm terrible at Vala, or that our 2 tanks were both bruisers, and they just went deep every time. They went past the Kael'thas Phoenix, and I just kind of felt like, well, what am I supposed to do here?
Who were the 2 bruisers?
I don't remember off the top of my head. One was I think it was Sonya and Artanis actually. Yeah,
there's no recovery there, and I've had a number of games this week where I've gone Diablo and had an Artanis along with me, and our backline is just left to their own devices. Diablo's too busy engaging deep and trying to get stuns on walls for the most part. If he's going to reposition someone to the backline, you're actually going to push them further into the backline, sometimes causing the kill on the poor squishy that's running away. And of course, Artanis has to be pretty fancy, and the best way to do him right now is to do that dash forward, then warp prism them backwards. Having to dash backwards and put them back in the front line of their own team is a really cool idea, but they're usually on cooldown from the engage in the first place.
Right. Tanks are doors, and Artanis is a door that loves opening constantly.
Yeah, and there really is like only 2 tanks right now that can recover for someone in your back line. If Muradin jumps your squishies, well, you already lost Muradin, so there you go. So you got ETC or Johanna. And ETC being about the only one who can make that quick body block with the power slide.
Yeah.
Our tank game is kind of lacking right now.
Yeah. So this is one at some point I'd like to, because this was the game where I felt the most like, what could I do? Which is a bad place to have your head, right? It's kind of unhelpful.
You also played a Vala you weren't comfortable with.
Right.
And new Vala is complete squish.
Well, no. I mean, I've logged a decent amount of games with Vala as of late. That was my homework last week, was just playing a bunch of Vala.
Okay.
That being said, I still don't prefer her. She's not my favorite because you have to depend on your team a lot to shine as Vala, and I don't like that in solo queue. I'll Vala for you guys any day in Team League.
Right. What you basically have to be is totally insane for the first 2 minutes until the healer and the tank go, "Whoa, Vala's amazing. We should help her."
Yeah. So. Anyways, so that was I think the most questionable of experiences, and then it was just kind of bumpy from there on out. Picked up a win after that. Then the most losses in a row I had, which were 2. Oh god, this Battlefield of Eternity and this Infernal Shrines, man. This was just tilt. I went on tilt. I was just like, These are the worst tanks I've played with this entire placement. There was nothing I
But
could
you
do
lost
here.
2 in a row and you quit for the night. You stopped there.
I did. Well, actually, no. That Infernal Shrines was my first game this morning.
Oh, okay.
But no. I lost when we lost the Battlefield of Eternity last night. It was late. I had logged 7 games. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed on this. I'm still in the green. I still won a lot of games. Cool. And then I figured I'd pick 2 more games up today. And I think I ended it with like the best way you could, right? My 10th game was on Braxis Holdout. Our Ariel was the saltiest salt seller on the planet starting in the draft phase.
Was she neutral skin?
No.
No.
One of the tints.
Okay.
One of the tints.
I believe all Ariel players are Overwatch players right now.
Fair enough.
Because they got her for free, and for some reason, they're really into her.
Yeah.
And Ariel has become Lili, and Tassadar, and Kharazim. And Kharazim has great damage output. Lili has great damage output. Ariel, you take more for the stun and control, and you need walls to do that in the first place, kind of like Diablo. So there's this bizarre thing going on right now where new Vala is not as survivable as old Vala with Ariel. And then no one's playing Lunara right now either. So Ariel is just being drafted constantly without any battery. And I feel like it's just the winningness, right? If you draft Ariel, Varian, that forward momentum will look like an amazing win. But the loss in that comp is horrible, and the chances are pretty high.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, this was on Braxis. We went second, so we had 2 picks right off the bat. They went KT Vala. The opposing team picked up Dahaka and Muradin really early. So I'm sitting in the 3rd slot, hovering over Tychus, and they're like, well, shoot, we don't want 3 ranged, but they have Dahaka Muradin. We really need the Tychus, so I still went the Tychus. And they're all losing their mind. We have no solo laner. And I'm just like, guys, I'll be fine. They're getting us into Haka top. Let me do it. And they're like, no, send JoJo. And I'm like, okay. And they sent JoJo up there. JoJo dies. I go up there. The game starts to actually work out.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was still rough. Very rough. It was a damn rough game. But
so you did win that one.
We did.
The Salty Ariel.
We did. That was the best way to win my final placement game, with the angriest Ariel ever, where the entire team was like, dude, you got a bad attitude. That is kind of the overarching experience of this. I got mad stressed, especially on the back 5. Because my front 5, that first loss right off the bat, I knew was my fault. I can deal with that. Then I won 4 in a row, feeling great. The back 5 got real rough, but overall, surprisingly positive team experiences, even in the losing games. With Ariel was an outlier, just this random kind of troll. That's going to happen from time to time. And on the battlefield that we lost, our Sylvanas was getting really salty at our Thrall. Our Thrall absolutely making misplays. I get it. And I was like, Sylvanas, I get it. This is hard. You're not helping. And that was about the most negative it got. The other losing games we had still had GGs at the end. Good try, everyone. It was I don't know what happened. I'm so used to this being a salt fest.
I think people are just really passionate about this game. I mean, our emails alone right now with the wild fluctuations between fix the MMR and, I finally figured it out. Both those emails are extremely passionate. And I think this player base is just getting awesome. And each season that goes by, yes, we have this big returning player base. We had the Overwatch event and we're constantly, again, making things weird with every hero we put out. But people are really into it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my story. Just wanted to share that. I am sure plenty of folks out there are like, platinum, that's not very high. And to you, I say, shut up. I have to split my time between a lot of games, and I'm proud of it.
Good for you, man, for putting in the work and focusing up. I wonder, so last season your Hero League was Gold 2?
Correct.
Interesting. And with the Diamond split, Platinum, the top of Platinum, got filled out completely with Diamonds, basically. And all other Plat people got pushed into low Plat and Gold. So for you to make that jump is a huge achievement. And I do wonder if it had anything to do with the Team League that we all did together, where you got Platinum as well.
I'm curious, right? Because we know if you're going in Team League for the first time that your Hero League MMR dictates who you're getting matched up against. But is there any cross back?
I have no idea.
So I don't know. I mean, I was on the rise in gold, so maybe that also played something into the reason why I placed higher in Team League, because my MMR was kind of on the rise. I mean, I don't know, because it's not a transparent system, right? So we can't have a perfect conversation with perfect information.
Well, and one thing you have an advantage of is that you were in a healthy range of gold and platinum, so all your game knowledge was usable. And your mechanical skills clearly needed some warming up, particularly on Tychus, so you had kind of a rough start there. But it didn't matter because you were playing alongside other mechanically skilled players with enough game knowledge to execute on.
That's how it certainly felt. Speaking of which, I would love to take a coaching session with you on Tychus at some point when you have the time.
Sure, I have a lot of opinions, clearly.
Yes.
I love the guy right now, and there is a very religious style to doing a lot of things, particularly clearing lanes.
I hear it. Overkill on the back middle minion and stop in front of everyone, so it just is a big splash fest.
Yeah, I go on the middle wizard, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
But, making sure you're already in position before you start the overkill. Oftentimes, people will just fire it up and then walk into position to make the cone. But you've missed out on 2 pulses of the damage already, and you're not going to get the full clear.
That's a really good point.
And then you engage, then really your level 1 is up to you. I don't know why you wouldn't ever take anything but the range, but a conversation for another time.
Fair enough. Well, with that out of the way, shall we get into this week's news?
Yes, there's a lot.
We're on, boys! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
We got another patch. We did? I didn't think we would get a patch before the holidays.
It was swift, but Ragnaros was a bit of a problem.
He was very strong. He's still banned in every single game I played.
As he should be.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking OP. I'm just talking it's a new hero, and we should probably ban those out anyway. Plus, there's that map awareness issue, and I have been taking advantage of it all week. I've had a blast. I finished my placements, did not touch Hero League at all because I just wanted to play with the new toy. And all but one time, so I have a 90% win rate with Rag. All but one time I was able to be a better Rag than my opponent. And now no one's playing Rag because he got a nerf. And so he's available in unranked and having an awesome time.
I think I think it's okay, man. I don't think it's that bad. I like the nerf that he got hit with. It seems even-handed. It's across the board. There's just about every, his Q, his W, his trait, his heroic lava wave. He has a second heroic. No one takes it. They all got reined in. All of that. That's a lot of stuff to get touched, but it's all, I think it's a fair dialing in. 20-second increase on the cooldown on Molten Core, and then everything else were like slight damage decreases on his Q, on his W, on all of the abilities while using Molten Core. And then also Lava Wave actually probably getting the single largest, I think, kind of nerf. Only a 6-point damage reduction, but also that extra 20 seconds on the cooldown. That makes a big difference. Not 6 points of damage. My God, I read that 6 as an 8. Quite a sizable reduction in damage. It was 86. It is now 60.
Yeah, it's still really good. And until people stop letting me seduce them to hang out in lanes, it'll continue to do exactly what I want it to do, which is wipe out people who aren't paying attention. So it's a limited time thing. I played a lot of Tracer on release because you just run circles around everybody if you knew how to control a Phoenix from StarCraft. Come 2 weeks out, people have figured it out. They're countering her a little bit. I just went, it's just fun. So that's what I've been enjoying. I think they targeted the wrong things here. I think his real power is that he always, as a good, powerful, even solo lane assassin, finishes top XP. And in my opinion, keep him the exact same way he was, and remove the XP contribution from the Lava Wave. That doesn't fix the core of the problem, which is you can always use Ragnaros to recover from a bad position. You can fight in the mines until the last minute, have catapults on your core and say, nope, no thank you to those catapults, that is just a huge power. And I don't know how you actually rein that in.
I'm not 100% sure. That is, and this is not me saying you should not change things because of an arbitrary rule, but that would be a really interesting precedent to set, wouldn't it? Because right now, any damage caused by a hero yields XP if it kills a minion, even if you're not there. So this would be the one outlier where that is not the case.
And you put it on the text there, everything's fine. We have ancestral healing on Rhaegar that can't target himself. So we have all sorts of weird rules. I mean, for esports, I'm thinking you send out Lava Wave and you use Eric, the Lost Viking, to run along with the wave because he has that increased movement speed and he gets the XP for you. Now we're raising the skill ceiling and wow, what an executable team thing to do in the background there.
Yeah. No, and I'm not against this either. I think it's a really smart fix. I just wanted to bring that up because there's nothing else in the game right now that functions like that.
And his molten core is powerful and it takes a fort, and games are going longer right now, which is the show of Ragnaros. I mean, clearly they've made some changes to even Haunted Mines. They upped the attack damage and the stomp damage on the Grave Golem to try to end these games sooner.
Yeah.
I've also heard the horror stories of this week's Brawl where they've had mirror matches that go an hour long.
Oh, God, that's terrifying.
Well, if you can imagine, it's a real map with the Grave Golems and then 5v5 Lunara. That's not going anywhere. No one's going to be able to actually get on the core and take a shot.
That said, don't move too fast past that stop damage, though, because it's been more than doubled. Do not stand in the stomp.
Yes.
It stings.
Yes, so.
It was 60, it is now 150.
It's true. It's a huge increase. It's funny that, obviously, right? That's kind of where my brain is.
Yes. But
what are you doing there anyway?
I agree. Just PSA. If for whatever reason you got caught in one and were like, oh, that didn't hurt too bad, maybe I shouldn't be as concerned as I was before. You should have been anyway because you're still getting stunned and you're losing DPS, yada, yada, yada. Now it really hurts.
Yeah.
So don't do that. But
that's good. This is healthy for that stomp to actually hurt a lot because it should be punishing if you get in something telegraphed like that. When we augment things like this, my mind immediately goes to the Punisher and baiting the Punisher over the wall and line of sight. And sometimes when you're back there, you have to cast or auto attack to reveal yourself, and that gets the Punisher to leap. And those sort of things maybe need the same sort of fixing, some sort of tell to them, or just gotten rid of them entirely. Yeah,
because it's these weird hidden rules, right? And it seems clunky.
Right. If it's your first game and everyone has to say, bait it over the wall, and you're like, what is that? That's not apparent. Isn't this thing I should kill? Shouldn't I get on it right now?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would like maybe a radius circle to appear around it, the Punisher when it is ready to leap again. So it wouldn't, I don't think it would hurt the surprise factor of the leap, because if you're within range and it comes off cooldown, you should just leap immediately. It won't matter. That half a second of seeing this radius dot won't really affect anything. But at least then you have a tell if you're all playing correctly behind the wall. It's like, okay, he's coming. That's, that is the line where if I am not a tank, I should not be near it. I don't know, something like that. I'm not sure how else would you do that? Would you have him change stance when he's ready to? I guess that's also an option. He could change stance. He could start glowing in some weird way. I mean,
flashing like the arcade games of old when you're at half health.
Oh God, that would be fantastic.
But yeah, I agree with you there. Just something to telegraph that and let everyone know that this is about to happen. Maybe even he does like a sight reveal, so everyone knows that they're revealed over the wall now. Maybe not on stealthies and whatnot, but now we're getting a little, armchairy designy and going a bit too far with it. But still, there are these hidden things in the game that can be addressed. I like the nuance idea of something like a glow or an animation change, or even just bringing it down to a radius ring. Fine with that. Well, and it is a mental timer, and so much of map objectives and these sort of things are just sort of having a feeling of, there hasn't been a shrine in a bit. I should not get in a fight right now. This is a bad idea. In fact, in the team leagues on the weekends now, I've started repeating myself a lot. And it's been very helpful for people to be like, power slide's ready. Enemy ETC wants to power slide, and just keeping it going in people's heads. it's not something that automatically comes to some.
No, you're absolutely right. It's something I understand. I think mentally multitasking is a large skill gap to cover, I think, in this game, right? Because tunnel vision is one of the number one reasons you make mistakes. You're not watching the minimap because you're microing your guy too closely, or you're watching the minimap too closely. You're not microing your guy enough. That's a very simple, I think, example. Something I run into all the time when I get into a really heated 1v1 against someone. My eye gets off of that minimap, and that is the cause of most of my deaths.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to the patch, which we have gotten a little away from, talking about the Grave Golem stomping the living life out of you. Let's talk about Artanis. His shield value got minutely increased. It was 360. It's up to 375. The devs said that they feel they've slightly over-nerfed Artanis' survivability for his added playmaking potential by being able to cast Phase Prism during Blade Dash. And they went on to say that they don't think he needs much, but hopefully the small change makes him feel more like the bruiser he is meant to be.
He's doing fine. And this will help out.
Yeah, he's doing okay. I was surprised to see this, what looks to me like a relatively sizable Diablo nerf. Again, I waited to do my placements. I played most of last week in unranked. Didn't see a ton of Diablo. So I don't personally have a lot of experience to draw from to really say how strong he was. So maybe you can speak to this, Kyle. How do you feel about this Diablo nerf? Was it warranted?
I think it's okay. I think they are reacting to his popularity and the amount of bans he was receiving, which once again works us back into the problem right now in the draft, which is tanks. And these things come and go. Sometimes we have no supports, we feel like. Sometimes we feel like we have no melee assassins. And right now we're just in a meta where we feel like we have no tanks. I ban out ETC all the time. Usually second. Sometimes in Team League, honestly, if I have no idea what to do for the map, and of course I have no idea who my opponents are, I'll just ban ETZ first just because none of us play him. And he is such a playmaker. And now you've removed the tank in the world.
I personally, I would, in my own games, and I don't know what this will say about me, I would love to see Dahaka to start getting bans.
Yeah,
it's causing a lot of problems in my games.
Dahaka's very punishing for people out of position, and the speed at which he can do his business, getting a grab, moving across the map, getting hold of somebody, now even better with a buff they gave him this week, catches a lot of people off guard. And in those early moments where a global is already in play, this game is about snowballs right now. And if you're winning, you hold on to your snowball. And that's not unhealthy, but it's tough. And Dahaka makes it tougher.
Yeah. That being said, I had some great comebacks this week in my placements, but all right,
well, if we're looking at flat win rates, we see Diablo jumped up 7.2% to 55% over the last week, just across all maps.
Yeah.
This made him the highest winning hero above Samuro and right below Rag, who is now at about 53 thanks to the nerfs. That's a good place for him, and Diablo's heading down as well. This doesn't really affect me too much. It's a overall health decrease, which is fine because now he has less health than Cho'Gall has at level 20, which should be. That is the fact that Diablo was getting more health than Cho'Gall when he was level 20 is insane. So I'm okay knocking that down. Health regen, that's fine. Bulwark had its level 1 duration decrease, so now you get 4 seconds of resistance instead of 2 seconds. The soul shield, which I took crazy advantage of on this poor Jaina's face, it has been reduced down to 25% from 35%. So you have to have full souls in the previous version to have a 35% ability damage reduction. When I would face charge Jaina, that would put me up to 60% reduction of everything she basically does. And most Jainas are too afraid when there's a Diablo in their face to actually auto-attack. So everything she was putting out was reduced by 60%. I was a beast, and this now goes down to 50%. That's fine by me.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. I saw a good amount of Diablo play in my placements. I played alongside a couple really boss Diablos, and I still saw a good amount of Diablo bans. which, as I explained earlier, since I didn't see a lot last week while I was practicing an unranked, confused the living hell out of me.
He's very powerful, and he's really sticky. People have forgotten how to play against him. They also added 20 seconds on the Hellgate, which is his teleport at level 20, where he puts down a rune that's going to explode. And that's fine by me, too, because it's a teleport on a tank. You're going to have a good time with this. And I'm honestly not taking it right now because I'm struggling to figure out what I should do with it. If I teleport to someone, I'm going to grab them and move them, so I take them off the rune. So I should teleport to one dude and then charge a different dude. I'm still figuring out the most value decision I can make there.
Yeah. Well, shall we talk about a new hero?
Can we? Is everything out yet?
It turns out, yes. While you were doing your Jaina rant, I may have zoned out a little bit and checked if all of Zul'jin's abilities had been revealed. And they have. All right, so Zul'jin is the next hero. The reveal started at 9 a.m. Pacific time today and went on for 3.5 hours as they released, I think, one ability per half hour. It was very bizarre. I did not care for this
Facebook
personally.
Voting or something?
Yeah. In the pantheon of promos, this ranks up there with drip feed from Hearthstone. I hate this kind of stuff. It drives me bananas.
But the newest drip feed was so evil when they were doing the tweets for people, but then wasn't showing what the actual text or numbers were on the card, just the picture. So you had to go to their website. I get it. You know, they go to your website, then you get the ad revenue and everything else. I exist in a modern era, but still.
I think that was more on the websites themselves. I'm not sure that was a Blizzard thing.
Oh, my.
I mean, it's easy enough to do with Photoshop. Anyways, getting off subject, the reveal was mildly annoying. Wouldn't have honestly affected us in any way, shape, or form if we were recording on the Thursday at 8 p.m. like we usually do. Anyway, so Zul'jin is coming. Kyle, you're the biggest troll fan I know. Like, cover up everything you see here. I'm just telling you, Zul'jin is coming to the Nexus. What do you think?
He was that weird guy in Zul'jin in BC for some reason. To me, I didn't play Warcraft 2, so I'm not very familiar with the guy. I don't know why he only has one arm, but trolls can regenerate. And why did he turn into a bunch of animals in Zul'jin when that isn't seeming to be part of his kit? I don't know.
I was trying to open it again to see. He has both arms in Heroes.
Okay, so it's I my understanding, at least from the lore, is that he's the one that was approached to add the trolls to the original horde. And he didn't want to, but then when the alliance got the elves, he's like, oh, crud, they're going to come for us. I need to make an alliance. And that's how they joined in the first place. I still don't have a major city, so I love my troll. But I think it's more about perspective, right? I'm not a broad guy. And playing short characters is just really weird to me. So it's about the same height. I have posture problems. It works out.
Yeah, he lost his arm because he was captured. He cut it off so he could escape.
Why didn't it grow back, though?
I'm not sure. I don't know my Zul'jin lore very well. I thought I remembered something like that, so I do have his wiki up at the moment, but as quickly as I'm scanning it to keep this moving along, I can't remember. I can't find it quick enough. So we'll just have to let Twitter and emails and maybe chat room when the stream lag catches up.
And those poor people who are screaming at their podcast right now.
Yep, pretty much. If you'd like to, and please stop screaming, tweet at us. Let us know. I'm not sure why his arm didn't grow back. Anyways, let's take a look at his kit, shall we?
Yes.
First off, he has a mohawk, so I am predisposed to like him. His trait is Berserker. He gains 1% attack speed per 1% of missing health. That is really cool. And he can activate his trait to increase the damage of his basic attacks by 25% at the cost of 2% of his max health per attack. Also really cool. I like that it's based on attacks and not a time thing. So you can kind of attack it, and if you got to dance, cool. It doesn't matter. You're not losing health just because you pop this trait.
All right.
Well, you seem skeptical.
This is tough. It's the archetype for the troll hero. This guy is seeming like a combination of Huskar and Troll Warlord as an old Dota fan. Which I can't blame them. Those were originally their properties, so this might just be the personality that a troll should have in the game.
Yeah. Also, I agree with Karsus in the chat room who says, guys, don't heal me. I need attack speed.
Right? How dare you?
Is that going to start happening?
That is. And to be completely honest here, a lot of my trepidation is, this is released this morning. I don't know what you're about to read. I'm reacting in real time.
All right.
All I can think is there something on this kit that has a chance to stun when you auto-attack? Anything at all. A talent, just the second you put anything that gives ridiculous attack speed, my first thought is, am I going to be stun-locked? I am scared.
Yeah, I don't believe, and again, I also am reacting to this real time, but I gave it a quick once-over. I don't believe there's anything in his base kit that stuns. We don't know his talents.
Even like a 10% chance. I'm just frightened. But yeah, Karsus makes an interesting point there, and that's really exciting. Tassadar, all these sort of heroes that are going to aid out and keep his health low, perhaps. That was the old Artanis problem with someone like Morales, as you kept getting topped off and didn't get any of your sweet talent procs.
Yeah, this makes your Tassadars and your Zaryas and a potential Discipline Priest support coming at some point, maybe, sort of, kind of. That'd be really cool. Be very interesting.
Finally, I think we're in completely unknown territory. The long ago 4chan guy who posted all the leaks is now done. Yeah, this was the final model that was hidden inside everything I saw at BlizzCon. If Zul'jin is coming out, we're just in the unknown now. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Anyway, let's move on with this kit. His Q is called Grievous Throw. He throws an axe forward, dealing damage to the first 2 enemies hit and marking them for 8 seconds. The way that mark works, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Those marked enemies take 50% bonus damage from Zul'jin on his next 3 basic attacks against them.
Cool. All right. So don't let him touch you.
It seems to be the theme with Zul'jin.
He's melee, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you have this ranged ability.
Sort of. He has 2 ranged abilities. 3 if you count a heroic. His W, Twin Cleave. He throws 2 axes in a large circular arc, which deals damage and slows the affected enemies by 15% per axe for 2 seconds.
Okay.
And in the video, they don't show the targeting reticule. Since it specifies large circular arc, I'm assuming it's a fixed distance and not like a target click and it just goes towards them. Because that wouldn't make sense.
Click the ground and it swings out and kind of boomerangs back to you.
Yeah, and they basically, the 2 blades cross paths and continue the arc in the opposite direction. You basically draw a big circle in front of you, and you want to get enemies within that circle that you drew. Preferably hit them with both of them so that you get a stack slow to add up to a full 30%.
All right.
So that's 2, count them 2, Kyle, ranged abilities so far.
Some poke 2, and that would be spell damage as well. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at, so far, good auto attacks, ways to make up for your melee problems, a slight CC, which might stack to a 30% slow.
Yes, a skill-based 30% slow.
Okay.
And then his E ability.
Heal.
Yes, his E ability, which we didn't know until minutes ago when it was revealed. He channels to regenerate 25% of his maximum health over 4 seconds. Obviously, moving or taking damage while channeling is going to interrupt the effect.
All right, so this is looking like a nice solo lane melee.
Seems like it, right? We haven't even gotten to
Poor Sagara.
Poor.
When will be her day again?
Poor specialists in general. Like, man. Let's go.
Thrall, Alarak, and now Zul'jin they're all looking like they can hold the lane and regenerate their own health in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And this does not require you to hit enemies like you do on Thrall or Alarak. Or even Ragnaros. So you just stand there. Get healed up.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So he's got a strong lane presence. What happens at 10?
Well, he's got 2 heroics to choose from. The first is called Taz Dingo. And as much as I wish it would drop a Ascension Shield Master, it doesn't. It makes Zul'jin unkillable for 4 seconds, and he cannot be reduced to less than 1 health during the duration of this effect. So he can take damage, but he cannot be killed. So you can bring him down to 1 health.
Which seems pretty powerful, since that 1 health would be giving him a 99% increase in attack speed.
Yes.
Wait. Yes.
Well, yes. Yes.
Because 1 health would be less than 1%, but I don't know if we get 0.5% on that attack speed. We'll have to see. Either way, this is how you maximize your attack speed. And if you receive a heal before it's over, I assume you are fine.
Yeah. And chat room saying he's ranged assassin, but the video doesn't show his basic attack. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, he sounds like he's throwing axes, so why wouldn't he throw his axes anyway?
Yeah, so he's kind of Rexaring it in that case.
Still, that just means he's now ranged with everything we just mentioned. That's even more frightening.
Yeah, that just sounds terrifying. It would make sense that he's ranged. It would, considering all of his abilities, right? And considering all the heroes that recently came out. I mean, we just got Samoro. Don't we want a ranged assassin now? The
scary thing is, and right, I was hearing the same thing, that this was going to be another melee, and we were adding to this pool of solo lane-able heroes that have melee, but have regeneration to make up for the fact that they're melee. If he's ranged and he has all this, that's extremely frightening.
Yeah.
But what's the other one?
It is. Okay, it's Guillotine. So
how trollish?
Yeah, Kyle, is Q and W not enough specialized ranged attacks for you?
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Well, there's a third one. It's called Guillotine, if you take it, if you so choose to accept it. He throws a massive guillotine into the sky that crashes down on enemies in the targeted area. The lower Zul'jin's health, the more damage it deals. So, this is a really cool effect, by the way. This is a giant, ridiculous blade, and like when it lands, it kind of like has this effect of splitting the ground where it lands. Looks really nice.
I didn't know a guillotine could just be a piece of metal from space.
I didn't either.
I thought you had to have the supports and the actual purpose of executing.
Agreed. Turns out trolls just took the blade out of the packaging and have weaponized it.
French, Jamaican, it doesn't matter for trolls.
I mean, it looks like a troll weapon, so I'll give it to him.
Fascinating.
And he's already throwing axes. It's basically an oversized axe that he's throwing.
Well, we have no idea what his auto attacks are going to be like. I mean, I remember Zarion release where we were all like, what is this even for? And then they added damage to it, and we all go, oh, it's a bruiser. I get it now. So we'll have to see what goes on when we actually get him in game. But this is a very scary kit, particularly given the popularity of things like Bloodlust right now.
Yes. I've been seeing a ton of Bloodlust.
And you should, because it's good.
It is really good. That being said, I've killed a remarkable amount of people while they're bloodlusting.
They do have a tendency to think they're invincible as well, but yeah. I certainly like it as tank. There hasn't been really any situation where I haven't liked Bloodlust.
Oh, I mean, it's fantastic.
It's really then again, good. I'm not playing Spellcaster, so I'm never like, well, thanks for making me big.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we know about Zul'jin so far. Sorry it was so incomplete, but it literally just, that's all they've got so far, and it just went up minutes ago.
Yeah.
So there's some mini news worth mentioning. And first up is that Team League no longer requires us to be in range of one another with the league that we placed in to party up.
This will help out the twos a lot. And
yes.
Twos we're seeing, 8-minute and up queues for the week. Threes we're having a great time.
We received many emails. We're going to put a shout out to Chilgore and two folks that wrote in named Yen, and I believe one was Yen's.
Oh, just the one.
Oh, just the one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As well as many others, but these were two emails that were so descript and really passionate about Team League. I wanted to give them a shout out in this conversation. And they were frustrated. In fact, Chilgore made a great point of how frustrating is it that we are being seeded in, and then while I watch my friend get masters, I graduate from silver to gold. So the system still isn't complete.
No.
or maybe the best.
No, and I honestly I agree with them. I'm not just riding high on my I went up one whole league in my Hero League placements. I'm not. I absolutely understand the disappointment that happens there, right? Like you party up with your buddies. In a lot of these cases, we're hearing reports where someone who is in silver or someone who's in gold is partying with their diamond buddy, and they're going up against teams of mostly platinum and diamond and winning. And at the end of all their team league placements, they're 3 leagues apart. Not 3 ranks, 3 leagues. And I get it. That doesn't feel good. This helps. This absolutely helps. And I think this should have been how it works from the get-go. If you're going in the team league, if you were choosing to party with your friend, that's on you.
Yeah, you have made the choice. They're not forcing you.
Yeah.
You need to have a sit-down talk if they are.
Yes. Kyle, I'm going to chloroform you, tie you to a chair, and tell you that you have to play with me.
All right.
It's going to be like that
scene. Thanks to the
scene.
chloroform, I cannot guarantee my level of play.
Well, that's just to get you tied in the chair. I'll wait till it's fully...
Okay. Oh, so you're going to give me adequate time to wake up at least.
Exactly, of course. I'm not going to just be like, welcome, Mr. Fergusson. Welcome to my hero's lair.
Leaning over, and I'll just take care of the bands for you there.
Yeah, like that scene from Clockwork Orange, but a lot less creepy. Still creepy, but not as creepy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as the place is clean.
Yeah. I'll let you blink. I won't put in the weird eye strain things.
Thank you.
So that went really dark. I'm obviously happy about this. My biggest concern with this was, oh my God, what if I can't play with Kyle in freaking Team League now? That would be awful.
Right. As long as you have a team of 5, it never mattered where you were. You were all in agreement that you were going in. But now 3s and 2s can party up with anybody.
Exactly. Turns out there's been quite long queues for 2-man Team League.
Yes. And this will help out a lot. Also, you can now party and fight against people who are still in placements, which was a hidden and weird rule they put in. So these guys going in on placements as 2 had to get 3 people on placements, and you can imagine how that went.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it to a certain degree. I mean, I wasn't placed in Hero League and ended up on many, many teams full of placed players. I mean, at a certain point, you just have to do that.
Right. The funny thing about that in Hero League is you start to go, oh no, I'm starting to see that lower league. We need some wins.
Very true. I literally started like closing my eyes when we got to the load in screen because it was wigging me out.
Yeah. Yeah, your Vala's all talkative and talking all pro, force some other dude off the pick so they could have it, and then you see they're the lowest league one on there.
Yep, I'm just like, I don't need this information. Doesn't help me. This information
for
does
me,
not
the
help
scariest one is always the carry and a support in the duo queues of old now, I guess. That's not going to happen anymore in Hero League. But it was always like a Vala, and I'm like, all right, Master, Grandmaster Vala, sweet. And then their diamond, low diamond Morales friend. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah. In esports news, Kyle, my one of my personal favorite esports dynasties is exiting Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Team Liquid says goodbye to Heroes.
Yeah, this makes me sad. Doesn't surprise me.
No, the team was underperforming. They did not seem interested in expanding or rebuilding the team as it fell apart. So they decided to pull the plug. And this comes on top of everything we talked about last week with many, many other websites bowing out of Heroes.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, if you want to peel back the layers on Dreadnought and see just how much this man works, good God, go read his Reddit AMA. He's a busy man. He's a very busy man.
Might I suggest moving to LA?
Yeah, that's
seems insane to be flying out there every week, but hey,
I've lived there. It's very expensive.
Very expensive, yes. I hear there is no water and things like that.
I love it. Do not get me wrong. If money was not an issue, that is exactly where I would be. But it is always an issue. So there you go.
Well, and worth checking out too, because it revealed. We had him on the show before. lots of people get very upset with his casting style at times because he does like to call out the errors rather than say how something might be possible. And it's really great to see him exposed, a human, in these moments. So check it out if you're into Dreadnought.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, right? Like, I get that a lot. Like, I understand why he gets that kind of pushback, but we've had him on this show. I wasn't around for it, but I've had a chance to meet him at things like DreamHack, and he is a very approachable guy. And even though I know for a fact, if you watch my play, he would dissect me like a game of Operation. But I don't know, he's still very approachable, and it's helpful information at the end of the day. It's just not sugar-coated, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
So
there needs to be both avenues. I mean, I've got the bedside manner. That's why I coach for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that works.
Some people don't need a firm kick in the pants, and that's a different market.
I honestly respond better to the firm kick in the pants. My favorite professors in college were the ones that literally tore up pieces I brought in.
Well, that's, I don't know. There's something magical about college professors and even high school professors who do that. Because if I ever met my high school history teacher, now that I'm an adult, I think I could safely call him a right jackass. Like, he was not a nice man, and I don't think there was a lot going on for the guy. But he was hard and tough, and he didn't give a care that I had dyslexia and couldn't spell. Darn it. He wanted that your to be the right your, regardless of if he was supposed to ignore it and not mark it off because of the school system said so. And that's the sort of kick in the pants you need to exist in social media. Because you mess up that your and people are coming for you. People have tags or something, and they know.
We've gotten
there's real grammar police out there.
We've gotten a hair off topic, but yeah. I was going to say, while I don't agree with that, I bet you've had that experience multiple times later on in life.
Yeah, I have.
Yep. Doesn't make him any less of a jackass, though.
No, but it was an important lesson to learn.
We've all had jackass teachers. So, anyways, before we move on to our mailbag, of which we'll try to make it through as many emails as possible, right before we break for the holidays. Let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN, because not only is it incredible that you all have been supporting Into the Nexus for as long as you have, as generously as you have been doing it, but because it is the holidays and life gets expensive around these times, we're really, really, really appreciating it. So thank you so much for supporting Into the Nexus. As we say every week, somehow this has become what we do for a living. So thank you for helping us make a living doing it. Thank you to Derek W. Thank you to Alebeard this week. Good old Alebeard. Thank you to Matthew A.V. Thank you to Lord Day, Joel, no last name given, Michael, no last name given, Ben W., and Matt G. Really flippin' appreciate it, guys. It's awesome.
We have over 300 bosses doing this job, and it is fantastic working for you all. It's easy to get mushy during the holidays, so I'll keep it short. Yeah, just go with that. But thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and also thank you to our producers, Cheesy Bob, who's been a producer for, I believe, over a year now. Declan, who's been a producer basically since the beginning. And we picked up a new one recently, Kyle. Tyler W. Thank you so much for your generous contributions to Into the Nexus. Now, let's hear what you guys have to say and open up that mailbag.
Darkness stopped calling.
I hear the wilds call. Wait, nature calls.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. Let's get it started, Kyle. Lori writes in and writes, I've heard you mentioned Weekend Warriors a few times on streams, and it seems like maybe you avoid Hero League on weekends because of them. Would you mind explaining what a Weekend Warrior is? I'm trying to determine if weekends are just bad times to play ranked or what. My games always seem hit or miss no matter when I play. So when I use the term Weekend Warrior, I don't literally mean the weekend is the only time you will see said Weekend Warriors. I use the term Weekend Warrior for someone who has just limited playtime and works with it as best they can. whatever it may be. Your weekend, your time to go be a weekend warrior might be every Wednesday night. That's the only time I can carve out time to play Heroes of the Storm, so I'm just going to play on Wednesday nights, and that's my Heroes night. So it depends. much like everything else in Heroes of the Storm, it depends. I don't think you necessarily can avoid them.
No.
There's certainly certain promotions, like Overwatch ones, that bring in a larger influx of new or returning or whatever the case. Let's just file them all under unpracticed players, where you most likely are going to see a larger variance in the quality of the teammates you're being partied with. But what are you going to do? Not play for months on end while that Overwatch promotion wears itself out? I don't see that as an option.
Right, and I used to at the very beginning of Heroes. Certainly the stream has changed that just because I want to know the news, I want to try the new stuff, I want to get out there and produce my shows. Nowadays I'm just playing whenever I can. And I gauge how I play based on what time of the season and the week it is. When I say Weekend Warriors, I actually mean the weekends, because I have seen reduced results on Friday evenings and Saturday days. Now it doesn't matter so much because I play Team League on Saturday, so I sort of counteract that environment. But for me, it just means people who aren't bad, they're just unpracticed. And that Vala is going to vault into tower range because of whoops. And that's okay. I just need to play less aggressive during those times. Things are going to be a little delayed. It's going to take a little more encouragement to get the team together. Often, people are executing strategies they've learned throughout the week, so they have this huge pile of knowledge that they then apply come the weekend, but they don't have the mechanical skills to execute it. So they're easily tilted, too.
Yeah, well said. Very well said, Kyle. And I'm going to invoke another phrase that I love very much and I use all the time, herding cats. And you know when the best time to herd cats is, Kyle? On the weekend, because that's when cats have the most time. So, yeah, if you are experiencing what Kyle's experiencing, but it doesn't sound like you are, it sounds like it's kind of hit or miss, take the weekend as the time to herd all of your cats, a.k.a. friends, into a team together and hit Team League.
Or stick to quick match and practice something up for some day of the week that you have figured out. I mean, my strongest times and the times that I have actually gotten my promotions, the big ones, the rank ones, the rank diamonds and masters this time, was 2 a.m. Those are my people. Those are my late night people. And they're all very chill and very tired. So sometimes it's just based on the time of day, too.
Yeah. And I want to clarify that I don't use the term Weekend Warriors as a negative. I mean, it's good. There are good chances that folks that have a regiment, even if it's once a week, are more practiced and more ready to go than the more sporadic people that may actually log a few more hours within the week, but because they're sporadic, who knows? Yeah,
no insult meant by it, and there is definitely a huge player base that can only play on the weekends because of life, and that's healthy. Just you need to gear yourself when you go in those times.
My playtime is limited for all of the games I do because I love all of them, and also I don't know if you noticed, I do a show about almost every damn Blizzard game. So because of that, I would consider myself one of these. It's just not necessarily the weekend. But usually Wednesday is like my big Heroes day, and then any other time during the weekend when I'm like, hey Kyle, are you burnt out yet? Are you burnt out? You're not burnt out? Okay, cool, let's do this. But yeah, so I don't see it as a negative because otherwise I would be self-hating.
That's not healthy.
No, it's not. It's really not. So anyways, moving on. Lupine Fiasco writes in and says, I ended last season in Diamond 2 and was excited to try and make the push to Masters in Season 3. However, I find that with my schedule, I'm noticing a theme with these emails, I'll only be able to play on weekends and one day a week if I'm lucky. With Weekend Heroes of the Storm being what it is, should I set my sights lower and be content with unranked and quick match until my schedule opens up? I love Hero League to death, but these weekend games are just awful.
If you have to choose between those two, do quick match and work on your mechanics, meaning your execution, your combos, finding more value with your spells, using terrain. Those are all things and more that I mean when I just throw out the word mechanics. I know I've been using that a little stalely recently. Unranked, you're going to fight people's picks, and they aren't Hero League picks. I see Murkies almost every time I go in unranked, and that's fine. And I see Tassadars, and I see Tyraels and non-Tyrael comps, and that's fine. And in that environment, those things are going to happen. You're not going to learn how to play proper position tanks and everything else in unranked, just because it's more casual.
Well said. I've been practicing on unranked. Maybe I should have spent more time on Tychus and Quick Match.
Maybe. I mean, you're gonna be stomping in there if you're doing well. I mean, Li Ming with her self heals and everything else she brings in a tankless environment and a supportless environment. Oh my goodness! Have you ever played a game where you're Lunara and there are no tanks and no supports? It is the most dangerous and easy thing at the same time to do. Basically, you're taking time bomb. You're gonna go in, just apply as much damage before you're on your way out, and then take a look at your watch as everyone explodes.
Pretty much. Also, you might explode in the process. But
exactly. You're going down, but you're taking everybody with you.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think it's just unwise to try and climb with only 3 days a week available to you? I think it depends on when that weekday thing is. I think if you can drop that weekday game session in the middle of the week, I think it's okay. That doesn't sound bad to me. I think like 3 meaty days dedicated to Heroes of the Storm, it's not bad considering how long seasons are. If this was Hearthstone, I would tell you you're not hitting Legend unless you're logging an obscene amount of games in those 3 days. But in Heroes of the Storm, the seasons are long enough. I think as long as you keep up your practice, I think you have a chance.
I think it can be done. And I play in a smarter, not harder style. I know a lot of people who just say, 60% win rate, I'll just play as much as I want and not really care, and I'm kind of into Kavarzim right now, so let me just have at it. I have 3 main heroes. I stick to them. I make sure my time when I get in is highly efficient. If I get 2 losses in a row, I quit.
Fair
so
enough.
If you operate in the same way and you gather up your resources, check your HOTS logs, prepare yourself for the weekend, put yourself in the right mindset to draft with other people, don't let yourself get pushed off your selections because you have limited practice time. If someone says, yo, let me have whatever it is you're into right now, don't let them have it because you are saying you're better than them at that hero. And you are going to be in a deficit of skill if you give them up. And that's more important, really. I mean, if you feel bad about having to fight someone for a Vala, don't. Because the team is going to suffer because you will play less. Ideally, the reason why you're trying to get out of bronze is because you know you're better than that, and you're picking Vala to get out. Not speaking to Lupin here, he's in Diamond 2.
But Kyle, what if that Vala is better than me?
Well, you didn't know, did you? You didn't know that. And then we come to the sort of odd psychological crux of the problem of, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you think you're better than you are.
But then you're contradicting yourself, and how helpful is... I'm confused now.
Oh, how so?
Well, if you think you're better than you are, then why should you be fighting someone for the hero pick?
Well, you don't know you're better than you think you are. Wait, hang on. No, wait, we've gotten to a bit of a word puzzle here.
Okay, so you're just saying believe in yourself, basically.
Believe in yourself with facts to back it up. Just because you think you're amazing, check your HOTS logs, be honest with yourself about that win rate, realize you're maybe not that, maybe Rexar never wins for you on Braxis, and everyone wants him, but however you personally play him, despite the advantage you think you constantly give, the win rates don't work out. This is why I don't play Uther. I love Uther. I love him. But he doesn't work out. He doesn't bring home the bacon, so I had to let him go.
Fair enough. Which is where I'm at, right? I'm like this bizarre like exception that proves the rule, Kyle, because I know I'm probably not the best Tychus, but my stats, like my win rate's good. It's going well.
That's fine.
The other guy fighting me for Tychus might be a better Tychus, but F it.
Yeah, well, and you don't know that, and really, with this statement, I am talking to people who feel they are in a wrongful place, and people are in bronze and that sort of thing, and the amount of self-reliance and effort it's going to take to get you out of there.
Excuse my pause to drink. All right. Fanir writes in next and says, curious if you have been seeing a rise in people who are like, quote, our team must have X hero. Pick them. But can't, sorry. Our team must have X hero is the end of the quote. And then he says they pick them, but they can't play them. Seeing this often in Platinum League, normally with Malfurion, it really sucks to get people take a support and not heal. How do you not heal as Malfurion?
I don't know.
I don't get this at all. I don't like Malfurion. I never play him. I don't think I'm that good with him. I still top the healing meters when I get forced onto him.
But you also have a lot of World of Warcraft experience, which helps out on Malfurion because you understand the value of what a overheal over time can do to encourage a player to get aggressive.
A pre-heal, if you will.
Exactly. If Tracer doesn't need mana, but if I hook her up with a heal that goes beyond her maximum health, she might go do something good for me.
Yeah, you can get deep. It functions actually very, very much. Well, actually, this is a bad example. It doesn't work. Never mind. Ignore me. I was going to go with a really outdated Overwatch example.
Fair enough. It's going to be encouragement, and Malfurion is nothing but the milk and cookies of encouragement. You walk around, you say you are going to find exactly who is amazing on your team, encourage them with heals. If they have mana, you are going to encourage them with mana. You're going to say, Varian is bad, he gets no mana and heals. Oh, but this Vala's good. Let's put everything into her. And Malfurion, more than anyone else, Morales she's reactionary. She can kind of catch. And if you're a little low health, yeah, come visit the doctor. And okay, you come over here too. And oh, you're about to take damage. Let me reduce that. But Malfurion is 100% reactionary, but also proactive with roots. So Malfurion is the improv of Heroes of the Storm. You're just standing in the middle and just taking suggestions from the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of what I was seeing from our Salty Oriole. Now this player didn't take the hero that they were concerned about, but they were concerned with our first 3 picks being ranged, that we weren't going to have the perfect scenario top laner on Braxis. And I get that. I understand that to a certain degree. I was confident enough in my own Tychus, though, that I could do it. I haven't seen this a lot lately in my placement. I haven't seen a whole lot of people like, we got to take Vala, and then they just suck as Vala, except that one game that I played Vala. But I also kind of blame the Bruisers for making me fight in the Phoenix.
And you said you lost all your picks and ended up on something that was unoptimized for you, too. Mm-hmm. And that's just a rough position, and those will happen. Yeah. Remember, you're going to lose 40% of your games while still climbing. But I saw some of this with Diablos. People who just, Diablo's OP, and first pick him. And it was okay, but I know I have a lot of opinions about a character that I love. So I went kind of easy on myself and them. Certainly never called them out for it, but it was rough to see. I have not this experience that he's talking about where the player picks something they can't play because the team needs it. I see a lot of we need X, but I don't play it. And I am becoming one of those people about Zeratul, and it's frightening me. And I don't want to be that person. Who every time they see a Zeratul, it's just like, yeah, all right, we did it. So here it comes.
Go fix it, Kyle. Go start playing Zeratul.
Go become an amazing Zeratul, right? That's how I felt about Falstad, and now I play Falstad, even begrudgingly. It still gets the job done. So I am tempted to pick up Zeratul and get good at him. Granted, then I had a 12-death Zeratul game. Not me, on my ally. The guy picked it up. There was a Chromie and Jaina and that sort of business. And we're like, all right, that fixes all those problems. Let's do it. Died 10 times. 3 times in the first 2 minutes. Just awful.
Well, there you go. You need to become the better Zeratul.
That's usually how I go about it. So now I'm starting to gauge my practice time and seeing if I can work that in while making sure I don't lose anything on my other heroes. And that's why I've said this before. I avoid Brightwing and Lunar, because even the simple act of mounting up and that change in movement speed is going to change how I get to objectives, change my positioning, and I'm budgeting my time.
Yeah, it goes back to what you were talking about last week with the kind of the groups of heroes that have similar controls.
And how you can bounce between them too. But of course, I am always, for anyone out there, more concerned about you finding someone you're passionate about that you're going to get mechanically good at.
Fair enough.
liking the character will breed you practicing.
We talk about this on Overwatches all the time as well, because hero switching is a part of the game. And it's like, well, yes, I get it. You can switch to X hero because it counters Y hero, but do you know how to play X hero? If not, you probably shouldn't.
That's the really frustrating thing about Overwatch is you can kind of get into a main, but it's not over after the draft screen.
No.
Everyone can harp you the whole game. And even if your performance on Hanzo is amazing, you can still continue to receive the hate.
This sounds a little personal.
I may play a decent Hanzo that I'm proud of.
My most hated hero in the game. I hate to play him, and I hate playing against him.
It's good. It's those arcs. It's from Jedi Knight.
Oh.
Same with the Torbjorn gun.
Oh, yeah.
Has the same arc.
I love it on the Torbjorn gun, but that's because I don't have to wind it up.
Yeah, those arcs, that is straight from a number of games, but I particularly remember playing a lot of Jedi Knight multiplayer and just owning with that weird sort of hot rock shooter. I don't remember what it's called anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as giving Fenrir something constructive, it's hard, right? I mean, what do you do there? I think you just kind of have to ignore them and play to your strengths.
I always say play your best.
Yeah.
Play your best. What you best at?
Yep.
What's your main?
Yep.
And if they start to show heroes that are looking neutral skinned or anything like that, I try to encourage this conversation of what's your main? What are you actually good at?
Yeah. And I may have encouraged a loss last night with that. Granted, it can go against you. So one guy wanted to solo tank his Chen. You know, he had over 1,200 games, played his Chen. I'm like, you know what? Do it. Let's see it. And it didn't pan out.
It's a gamble. And I did a mouth this week, too. I saw a first pick Kerrigan. It was on Infernal Shrines. We were going to have a Vala and a Tracer there with an ETC. And everyone just showed their picks. And it was a complete gamble. I'm not an amazing Malfurion. But I saw this option to give mana to Kerrigan and allow her to infinitely take the shrines. And we won handily, and my Tracer was great, and my Vala was great. And my Kerrigan was okay, but she knew what she was supposed to do for the map.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's take our final email before we wrap it up. Denise writes in with a relatively wordy email, but let's get to the meat of it. Denise asks, do you have any suggestions for trying to climb in Hero League with niche picks? And can I even expect to climb knowing I really do my best on ranged casters? Perhaps now that Team League is available for 2s and 3s, should I focus my time there instead if I can find partners that fill out my shortcomings so that I don't get stuck in draft with bad decisions? I also just realized this name could also be Dennis.
It's Denise.
Okay, it is Denise. Cool. Very good.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Because as we've talked about these past 2 weeks, your mechanical skills and your knowledge of what you're going to do on that character for that map will be superior than if you picked a meta pick and didn't have the skills. One, first of all. And two, just didn't know what you could do on that map. So let's take Haunted Mines right now, for instance. There are a lot of pros and a lot of people in the community that are saying, and this is the very reason why we had a buff to the golem's damage there, that are just saying, don't ever go in the mines. It's a death trap. There's so many merc camps up top now, 4 total, that you can be able to take. You could take a keep while the whole enemy team's in the bottom there, and then you'll have a fort and the keep to defend the 100 skull grave golem anyway. So why would you go down there in the first place? Now Blizzard's trying to help that out. This bred a bunch of Sonias, which is pretty surprising because Sonya has been in the meta for a while, but Sonya's a great mercer, and she has Merc Lord. So suddenly Sonya has become popular on Haunted Mines. And those Sonias know exactly what to do for the map because they've learned that strategy. And it's extremely powerful.
That's a good example. And not something I've personally seen. I haven't come across a lot of Haunted Mines lately, but that's very cool. I want to get off topic and just yell, but what about specialists? But we'll save that for another day.
Well, specialists are scary, of course, because they don't fill out the team comp in most cases. And Asmodans, in particular for me, often don't acknowledge that they are the main tank in quick match. And as the main tank goes down, Asmodan can take up the role of being a big body in the front.
Yeah, so that's where your weird, wacky match experience is actually worth something in your Hero League, because you might be playing Asmodan and the tank might go down. Matter of fact, that's going to happen. I can guarantee your tank will go down at some point.
There's also something very active about that Sonya play. It's extremely decisive, it's proactive, and it's going to eke out a win in a very visual and clear way that is supported through these mercenaries while other people are seen in other places on the map. What is not working out is double soak Zul on Blackheart's Bay, or the more extreme that we've all sort of joked about a lot, but the Worth It Asmodan. Those things are going to be dollars, cash, that the rest of your team doesn't spend well. All you're creating is XP. If you create catapults, that's even better and going to increase the chances to win. But still, if your team can't execute it without you, then that had no value. So here, Denise quotes that they have a 74% win rate as Asmodan in quick match. I get that. If you were taking over the tank role too, randomly in there, but also people just want to fight in quick match. It's all about the brawl, and Asmodan can get a lot done in here. But you also bring up that you have a Nazebo, which is really solid right now. You have a Jaina at a 71% and a Nova. If you want to get real good at Jaina, that's not a niche pick in my mind anymore. That's good.
Jaina's incredible right now.
Team League.
And after you mentioned it last week, I played a couple of games as Jaina just in case. It really never presented itself to pick her in Hero League. But I think I still got it, Kyle.
It feels good. And Jaina is extremely powerful. You're right, though, that it's tough to do in Hero League just because the random chance of Zeratul, they got Chromie on the enemy team. There's too many things that just make me go, not today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just says no escape. I mean, if anyone who gets up in your face, you're in trouble.
And I've got nothing against Nazebos. I really respect most Nazebos I see. The only real problem is you're not a map pick. I can't think of a map where Nazebo would be a first pick quality hero. And that's just because someone's going to do that job better, particularly Sylvanas. She has so many maps available to her where she can get an edge that these other specialists just don't shine as much. And we're not so much that we have Nazebo instead of Sylvanas, it's that we gave away Sylvanas in the draft.
No, that's all very well said. There is something to be said for you first pick Nazebo and they're just like, oh, okay, that gives us nothing to go off of.
Right. Well, there's lots of first pick variants. We did a lot of first pick variants in Team League this past weekend to great success because it didn't say a thing about what we were doing. Even showing Brightwing, who is often a first pick support, tells me at least that you're going to be doing a double tank comp at the very least. Or
right.
You're going to fill it out with a Leadly or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I'm kind of with you, man, here. Like 71% win rate with Jaina. Oh, God, play Jaina.
Yeah.
Naz is fine if you're not first pick. I got nothing against Asmodan. I think that Nova is the one where, again, if it's working, pick her. I think as you start to climb, though, and you get up into the higher ranks, you might need to explain yourself to your team. Because chances are they're not seeing a lot of Novas in their comps.
Well, and help them out in the bans there. You're going to need, as you climb, an understanding of which heroes are the most popular, most powerful for the map, and get your team to ban that out. Just like I said earlier about ETC bans, we simply just don't play him in Team League. Nobody does him. So let's get rid of him.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, if any of these do get questions, because I still didn't see a lot of Jaina, but I agree with you, Kyle. I think Jaina's a fantastic pick right now. If anyone questions, drop these stats. Just be honest. Be like, hey, I've been keeping a look on my stats. Jaina is at this percentage for me. Nazebo is at this percentage for me. Nova is at this percentage for me. And then give them a tip on how to play with that hero. Because chances are, if they're questioning your pick, they haven't had a chance to play alongside that hero in a while.
My strategy is to get excited and always put things in the positive. So spin it a little bit even and be like, I got this Jaina. What can we get with it? Ooh, yeah, that's a cool idea. Ooh, let's get a Leoric for the Entomb Blizzard. And just get stoked on your team. And before you know it, they're going to be stoked. And then they're going to be like, well, what if I go Tracer and I throw the bomb in the pit? And you're like, we need a name for this thing. This thing is getting cool now.
Yes. Yeah. No, that all well said. I the thing I do often is, if I'm later in the pick and things are going weird, I kind of explain. I'm like, hey, I could do this or that. I like this for this reason. I like Tychus right here because 2 tanks or something. You don't really need to explain Tychus all that much right now, but that helps. That helps. So, anyway, good luck out there. I like your roster. Nova would be the one that would make me ask the most questions, personally.
I think Nova's extremely powerful right now.
Mm-hmm.
But she does fail the test that I have presented of the balance between self-regeneration, auto attacks, and spell damage. She fails the test. So, Jaina, like I said last week, is a very special case because that is highly explosive. Also, I find that Jaina speaks well to my Tychus skills. Because at level 13, you can take a shield talent that can get a lot done. And having a similar power spike even in gaining that ice barrier has been a great skill to me.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't really draw those parallels, but I will take that and run with it, Kyle.
Anything you can connect, man, to make yourself more powerful.
Sounds great. Well, awesome. Reminder, everyone, if you want to send emails, you can over at itncast@gmail.com. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Happy Wintervale, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy eating way too much food in the company of hopefully many, many people that you know and love. And maybe that one weird uncle that's a bit awkward to speak to. But, it happens. It's family. Thanks again to our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. If you like the show, if you've been listening all year and like, man, I'd like to help these guys out somehow, patreon.com/ITN is the best way to do so, whether it's 25 cents, $1, or $1 million. Everything helps. It's never happened. That would be insane. As always, check out amove.tv for the entire back catalog of Into the Nexus. Thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, and the latest edition, Tyler W. You can get our swag. We've got a t-shirt over at shirts.amove.tv. We have pint glasses, coffee mugs, wine glasses at etched.amove.tv. And follow us on Twitter. The show is at ITNcast. And a huge thanks to Gorath and Brian Griffith for our intro and outro music. Kyle Fergusson, you are spreading Heroes Cheer like nobody's business. Where else can folks find you doing just that?
You can find me over at Twitch, directly following this show. We're about to play some games here with the patrons, but afterwards, 3 o'clock Pacific time, I will be streaming over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson. This is a solo Q&A show, going into Hero League, doing it solo style, and hopefully helping people learn that out. But also, this particular show is just a lot of try-harding. So if you want to learn something, you should check out my Learn to Play show, which is available over on youtube.com/Kyle Fergusson. This week, I'm going to be posting a Bronze Malfurion. And there's a lot of support mains out there. Check out this video, particularly if you're in Bronze, and see how judging your allies can really help you get an edge, even from the backseat of support.
That's awesome. Go check that out. Folks, you can find me on Twitter at Garrett Art. Already mentioned amove.tv. Everything I do is over there. Go check it out. Check out the new Warcraft show I'm doing with Jocelyn called For Azeroth. Give that a shot. And to the chat room that asks, what if you are the weird uncle? Embrace it. Everyone has their role to play at holiday gatherings. Be that weird uncle.
Yeah.
Be it.
Bring video games if you're the weird uncle. If you're listening to this show, you should show up with a console.
Yeah.
Kids will love you.
I am the weird family member at this point. I'm that guy. I embrace that role. I'm fine with it. Every year, the same aunt asks me, so what do you do again? And I go through the same spiel of, well, it's like radio, but it's whenever you want it, it's there. So to the random ancillary YouTube comments we get every now and then are like, how are these guys still talking? Why does anyone watch this? Congratulations. You're on the same level of informed as my 90-year-old aunt. Congrats.
Also, it's a podcast.
Yeah. Also, it's a podcast. Congratulations. You're on the internet and you're a moron.
You're watching at the wrong outlet.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It is there for the convenience of those who prefer YouTube as their the place to consume it. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. We've still got another episode or two. How many? Just one more episode before the new year. We will be back next Wednesday. But seriously, enjoy the holidays, everyone. It's been an awesome year of Into the Nexus. It's been crazy for the two of us. We really do appreciate everyone who tunes in, whether you're a patron, whether you've left us an iTunes review, the fact that you were downloading it, if you've sent us an email, if you're following us on Twitter, whatever the case is, however you have supported the show, it's insane. Thank you.
How crazy. Usually the end of our holiday episodes were me getting real mushy on Garrett about what an awesome partner he is. But now we have all these amazing bosses, so I'll spare you this time, Garrett, and we'll thank the patrons instead. But
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'll give you a mini one. Yeah, thank you as well, Kyle. I've been doing this for a very long time. The Angry Chicken just matched StarCast for numbers of episodes. But if we combine our efforts together, which is StarCast, This Week in Blizz, A-Move Radio, and now 144 episodes of Into the Nexus, there's no one else I would rather have spent this many hours of my life speaking to.
That is like 326 episodes we've done together of a 2-hour show.
Did you actually pull up all the numbers and do the math?
I think we ended StarCast on 182.
188.
188, okay. No live math on air.
Yeah,
Happy holidays, everybody.
We're at 332 episodes of just Into the Nexus and StarCast. That does not include This Week in Blizz and A-Move Radio.
Oh, that's right. We did other shows.
Yep. And those are, I think, easily combined to 100 episodes. So we're at over 400 plus episodes. Don't want to do that /played. But I'm glad it was shoulder to shoulder with you, Mr. Fergusson.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Well, awesome. And also, while we're getting mushy, thank you to Team One. They have been nothing short of phenomenal this year in their outreach to us. It's been really humbling. It's been crazy that this was the first show of mine that ended up on the Battle.net launcher, Kyle.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Battle.net launcher. We were on Brawl with the Blues this year. The communication we've had with the community managers. Special shout out, of course, to Lashes, but also Trixler. All these guys, Spirian. Okay, now I've started the name list, and now I have to name them all. But truly awesome how passionate Blizz Heroes is about their game. Not just as a product, but as a community.
Yep. Sincerely appreciate it, everyone. Have a good holiday. We'll see you one more time before the new year. But until then, good luck, have fun, and somebody pass the gravy because I chose turkey over ham because that's the correct decision.
Happy holidays.